right, we are back. To everyone that preyed on my downfall, it did not work. I've actually gone ahead and given this video some structure, man. We're going to get into my artist 3x3. Full disclosure, this is completely inspired by the Trash Taste podcast. They got a whole series where they do like an anime, a movie 3x3, all of that. So, I might end up just doing that as well. But today we're getting into my artists, man. 9 artists that I would say, have inspired me or impacted me, impacted my life in some type of way. This is obviously subject to change as I get older here and there. Some of these artists I've only recently started listening to. Some I've been listening to for quite some time now, but this is just a quick little shout out. I'll also be throwing up, some recs from those artists if you feel so inclined to check them out. And yeah, man, let's just jump into it. I got to actually pull up my notes. Got to pull up my notes here. And yeah, here we are. I'm going to throw it up in post. Boom, there it is right there, man. So we're going to start from top left. We got Tyler, the Creator. Next thing we got the Strokes, Jpeg Mafia next to them. Then down below we got Daft Punk, The Weeknd, Bad Bunny. Then we got motherfucking Xavier Wolfe, Omen 13, and City Morgue, man. So yeah, I know that I set this up like this, so it makes sense to go from the top left. But I'm actually gonna start at the bottom row, just because that right there, that's a nice little cluster of some real some fucking energy, because we got my boy Xavier Wolfe, man. It's just some of you know me, I've got his insignia tattooed on my forearm because it looks cool on its own, but also if I had to encapsulate the type of energy that Xavier Wolfe gives, it's just not giving a heck about whoever or whatever, man. And just he makes that very apparent in a lot of his raps. And if you've been really like tuned into underground rap over past decade at this point, Xavier Wolfe was at the start of that. If you look back at groups like Raider Clan, the Sesh Hollow Water Boys, he really pioneered a lot of that. And if you're really tuned in, you're not gonna sit here and argue with me, all right? And even if you were, I'm still not gonna argue with you about it. But yeah, I'm at Xavier Wolfe. I have been to a show. I've only been to one, but it was still a dank ass show. It's real, like, the people, Hollow Squad, what he calls, it's a real band of people that like to get together and just get sweaty and punch each other and shit. But yeah, man, Xavier Wolfe, I probably got into him maybe in like 2016, maybe 2015, so it wasn't like exactly right at the start of it, but it was around that era where like a lot of that underground rap sound was really like coming in heavy, and I was all the way for it, man. I love moshing. If you've never been in a mosh pit, I highly recommend it. To whoever or whatever, man, they're everywhere these days. You can just it's a real cathartic experience going into a mosh pit. And I remember like I started off going to like backyard ska shows, moshing, which, I didn't really listen to ska music like that, but I would go to the shows just because it was fun, just fucking knocking fools around. So like when I was able to go to somewhere like an Xavier Wolfe show, and like you got like, I really like really fucking vibe with the music, and I could just really let loose, man. That shit's awesome. So Xavier definitely had that impact on my life for sure. And a video rec that I would definitely give in order to demonstrate that kind of shit, you've probably seen some of his more popular videos like Thunderman or Psycho Pass, but I'm gonna recommend Read 'Em and Weep, because that one, he really does not give a heck in that one, and he for sure lets you know in that. So yeah, man, Xavier Wolfe, underground legend. All right, that is indisputable. You can't come at me with that. Am I dick riding right now? Perhaps, but it's fine. It's whatever. And so, interestingly enough, Xavier really kind of got me into the artist next to him, Mr. Omen 13, who I also have tattooed on my body. I saw him at that Xavier Wolfe show. I think he was like 2 sets before him, and it was awesome, man. When I went to that show, and like during that time in my life that I really got into Omen 13, it was it wasn't the best time, wasn't the best days. Everyone has those periods of life where you're just like, fuck, dude, like I don't want to do anything right now. And Omen's music, it's really cool because he has some of that similar like violent energy type of music that it's real moshable, real screaming and just punching, and even more so than Xavier, because Xavier never really goes into like, Omen goes more into like that type of like kind of metal sound, but not all the way there, still kind of within the underground rap realm, that is. And but he really gets that abrasiveness in it. He really be yelling sometimes. But then he also has a lot of really softer tracks where, it's just like a, melodic guitar riff, and he's, just he's really expressing himself, and I really related to that at the time, the type of shit he was saying, And just, there was just so many times where, I'd wake up and just not want to do anything, and listening to his music, it was that type of shit where it's like, this artist is is expressing something that I feel I'm experiencing right now, and it really just, it really impacted me a lot. And so what's interesting enough about, or maybe not enough, but about this tattoo that I have is that I really wanted it facing towards me, just so I could look at it type shit. Like, I got these other ones that like face towards other people, but it was something about like just being able to look at it and think back to like, I went through that period of time, and I, thankfully got out of it, but listening to them, and it definitely got me through that, you know what I mean? And the rec that I want to give that kind of delves into that side of his sound more, he put out this mixtape called Decode, where all the songs are in fucking binary, and so the title of this one is /MIA, and he really hits you with like that fucking guttural voice, but the shit he's saying, man, it really like it resonated with me, So I'd definitely recommend checking that out if you feel so inclined. And then up next we got City Morgue, man, which, I was talking about how Xavier and Omen, they got that real hype, fucking violent energy, but City Morgue definitely takes the cake as like the most cartoonishly violent energy. Mr. Zilakami and Mr. Sosmula, they come through just track after track, just fucking you just be wanting to punch fools, man. I remember I got into them in 2017 with the song 33rd Black Glass, which to this day, the video to that song, and that's my rec, it's one of the craziest videos I've ever seen. I love showing people that video. They're really just they're doing it for real, and their music really reflects that. They're getting into it. They're just saying crazy things on those songs, and it's kind of weird recommending it to it if you're not sort of into that sound, because it might be a little too much, but I love it, man. I love that sound so much. I also got to see them once they opened at a Suicide Boys show that I went to, and it was awesome. It was definitely one of my favorite sets. I remember at the end when they performed 33rd Black Glass, it was their closing song. Zilla went out into the crowd and was just like walking around, and shit, and everyone was just getting all up in his face. And so then I got all up in his face, and I was just like screaming, "I'm just fucking chop him down, whoa, dog!" And that, that was one of my favorite concert moments ever. Was just screaming in Zilla's face. And then also, I want to shout out Zilla's side project, Dog Boy, his solo project. It was easily my favorite project from 2021. It's only like 30 minutes, and it also kind of has that range where the first half and a little bit more the second half is that aggressive sound, but just him. But then he's got some more melodic cuts near the end that really just like similar to how Omen has those songs that like just fucking just really resonate with you. Zilakami, Dog Boy, that shit hit, man. That's all I gotta say. If you're really into that sound, that's definitely something I'm into. And if you just want to see some crazy shit, man, check out 33rd Black Glass. But City Morgue, definitely, they were like they've been in like my top 5 Spotify artists the past 3-4 years, just because I'm into that, man. If you're into that and you're not listening to City Morgue, I don't know what the heck you're doing, man. But I'm gonna take a quick sip of water, and then we're gonna get into probably one of the I would say the earlier, like the artist that I've been listening to the longest, the legendary Daft Punk. You know what I'm saying? Guy and Tomas, man. They just make objectively good music, and I don't think you can dispute that. Yeah, I remember my brother, he had DJ Hero, and I was playing it, and they had their songs on there, and then after a while you could be able to play as them, just having them in the background type shit. And that was the first time I ever saw them, because I'd heard some of their songs on like YouTube and shit, but I never really like got into them. But then when I saw them in DJ Hero, and I saw for the first time that there were these motherfuckers with robot helmets, I was like, yo, wait, what the fuck? That looks awesome. And just I was just hooked just off of that. And then, I started just looking into more of their music, getting really into it, you know what I'm saying? And Random Access Memories, if y'all remember that one for sure, that's just one of those albums I'm gonna listen to until like the day that I die. It's been in my rotation since it fucking came out. And I think it's the second track on there, Giorgio by Morader. It's like 9 minutes, but it's a goddamn experience. And I would definitely recommend that if you've fucking never heard it. Like listening to that song for the first time, man, that shit is crazy. It is it's a whole ass thing. There's a story. There's fucking Daft Punk is objectively good. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna argue with that. You cannot argue with me about that. That is all I'm gonna say. But Daft Punk, man, for sure, they ill, man. Them two French boys. Yeah, and then yeah, just listen to George Will by Motor there, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, shout out Daft Punk, one of my faves ever. And then next to them we got The Weeknd. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all already know who the fuck The Weeknd is, I would hope. But I was kind of late to his popularity. I'd say I didn't listen to him really until Beauty Behind the Madness came out, when like The Hills and Can't Feel My Face was popping, which it's not the latest, but he was obviously popping way before that. And I remember it was often that I remember listening to that song for the first time and like really like actually like sitting down, putting it on type shit, and just like I cannot relate to anything that The Weeknd is ever rapping about. I'm not living that kind of lifestyle, and that's fine. But when I listen to him, and I'm transported to that life, and it's not a good life. I don't think anyone would say that, but it's just like, man, I'm really feeling this right now. And interestingly enough, because it takes me forever to like listen to new artists or new music, even if it's from artists that I like. So Dawn FM came out like in fucking January, and I barely like sat down and heard it like a month and a half ago, because I just suck at listening to shit that I actually like. It's weird because I'm just afraid. It's like, what if I don't fucking like it? Then I'm wasting my time type shit. And so then, I just go waste my time doing something else. But Dawn FM for sure. I was just talking about experiences, but Dawn FM as an album, you know what I'm saying? That's an experience. I really like the world building in that album. I would probably say like some of my favorite cuts on there is like Out of Time. I heard, I don't know, cause like I Heard You're Married. I would say I Heard You're Married just cause like the vibe. I'm grooving to it just in my head. I'll say I Heard You're Married. Gasoline. The one with what is the one with Tyler called? I'll be listening to that album from just like front to back. I don't really be like selecting songs, so that keep that in mind when I'm fucking up right now. But yeah, man, Dawn FM, good album if you haven't heard it yet. And if you haven't heard this next artist, Mr. Bad Bunny, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. You probably listen to Bad Bunny right now. And I was just talking about how I was late to The Weeknd. I was for sure late to Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to a lot of Spanish music. My Spanish isn't that good, so if I'm listening to some Spanish, I have to like really be focused in on it for it to register. And I've known about Bad Bunny for a long time, but I never really like listened to him because I just don't listen to Spanish music really. But like I knew his voice. I always thought it was like real distinct and all that. But it wasn't until earlier this year that one of my former coworkers, she would put him on, and then like because I was just working while I was playing, like, and once I really started listening to what he was saying, I was like, damn, this dude's actually pretty ill. I really fuck with what he's saying. And then that just kind of made me like actually go and listen to it myself, and I'm like, yeah, I fuck with this. And I mean, obviously this is his year. He's just dominating left and right. If like I said, you're probably already fucking listening to that. My rec is go watch the goddamn Titi Me Preguntó video again, because probably already are. And so yeah, I don't gotta say that much about Bad Bunny, man. But I really just fuck with the fact that he's just himself. He just does what he does, and it's like, yeah, you can't fucking deny that. You can't just come out here and start saying Bad Bunny not ill. I just don't think you could do that. Same way you can't say that Daft Punk isn't objectively good. You know what I mean? What are you doing? But also someone who really is just themselves, and it just really just shows very much, is Mr. Tyler the Creator, who I remember I got into him back when he like a year after he dropped the Wolf album, because I remember when Yonkers was blowing up, at that time, I was like maybe like 12, 11 type shit. And, I got an older brother. And anyone who's got an older sibling knows that if, like, your older sibling has got an opinion or something, you got to kind of, like, you just tend to, like, go with what they say type shit, especially when you're that age. You're just like, oh, that's what they said and that's what I say. And my brother, I don't know why he was so against Tyler the Creator at the time. I feel like it was probably just because he knew somebody who didn't like him. And so he was just like, yeah, man, Tyler sucks. And I was like, all right, I guess he does. But then I remember when I saw the cover to his album Wolf, I was like, yo, I really like this. Let me see what this is about. And I got into it, and like, if you didn't listen to Tyler back in the day, he was obviously a lot more abrasive and a lot more crazy and rambunctious. But I really resonated a lot with what he said back then, type shit, in a way that was like, I was real angsty. Oh, dude, I was fucking terrible. I was a terrible preteen slash teenager, man. I was just fucking stupid, which, maybe a lot of people look back and think that. I don't think anyone looks back to when they were 12 and thinks that they're cool. But yeah, Tyler, man, like, I was just like, yo, this is what I need to be listening to, is what I felt, man. And obviously as he progressed, and he dropped like Flower Boy and Igor, and he kind of became more mainstream accepted, which is cool, man. I'm not gonna be out here gatekeeping fucking Tyler. But Igor is definitely my favorite project by him. When that dropped, that was another one that was just like that's really like the main thing with Tyler, is just every piece of music that he puts out. It's just like, when I listen to it, I'm like, yep, this is what I'm going through right now, type shit. And because it's like him just expressing himself, that's something that his music, as I would hear it, and I would just like accept, like, yeah, I like this. It slowly kind of made me more accepting of myself, because I just, I haven't always been that cool with myself. That shit took time. I think I'm pretty secure now, I'd say. If you disagree with me, fuck it, man. But yeah, man, Tyler, man, he ill. I would say probably a track off Igor, if you haven't heard it, is Puppet. Man, Puppet, that one really, like, I feel like a lot of people could relate to that song type shit, man. Yeah. Anyways, up next we got The Strokes, which is, that's another one that I've just been listening to for a long time. I remember, I think I was in like the 8th grade, and my friend showed me how to pirate music. And I decided to pirate The Strokes, because I think I knew a few songs. Like, I knew like Reptilia and You Only Live Once type shit. So I was like, fuck it. Like, I like those songs. Let me download the entire Strokes discography. And if you ever downloaded an entire discography and just loaded your iPod or whatever at the time with just a shit ton of music, you realize that you're not going to listen to all of it. And so it was like 5 Strokes albums on there, but I only really listened to like 2 or 3. And I would say First Impressions of Earth was definitely the one that I just stuck with the most, you know what I'm saying? And, I would say like The Strokes, to me, man, anytime I listen to them, it's kind of like how when you think of Christmas and you get that like warm, fuzzy feeling, man, that's what The Strokes give me, man. They give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. Like, one of my favorite tracks off First Impressions is definitely Electric Cityscape. Just something about those drums coming in, and Julian Casablancas' vocals, man. That shit is ill. But I also love, off of their latest record, The New Abnormal, the the name just blanked out. I should have written it down, because I just wrote down Electric Cityscape like an idiot. But I'm going to put it up right here. It's the one that's animated. At the Door. There it is. At the Door. I'm an idiot. But yeah, At the Door. That's a great video. It's a great vibe. It just feels so grand and crazy. But, yeah, The Strokes, man, I really, that's probably, another band I'm going to listen to till I die type shit. So I definitely got to shout them out. And yeah, man. And then last but not least, certainly, Mr. Jpeg Mafia. Kind of going back to some of that insane violent energy I was talking about earlier. Mr. Jpeg Mafia definitely encapsulates that. And just listening to him gets me fucking hype. But what I also really love about him is just the little, like, quirks and little bullshit shit he be putting in his songs. It's like he just has like anytime I listen to him, I love it because I'm always discovering something new. It's like I can picture the Pro Tools shit, the file, and just seeing, like, I don't know what his whole process is, but just it feels like he'll be making a song, and then an idea will just come to his head and be just like, fuck it, just put a whole snare roll right here. Just put like a fucking random ass CSGO sample. And I definitely would say, you're gonna check out anything from this video, check out his Thug Tears Colors performance, because that'll get you hyped, man, no matter what you're doing. But yeah, those are my artists 3x3. I'd say like all these artists in some way they just give me that just like, yo, let's fucking do it energy in one way or another, whether it be the crazy lifestyle that The Weeknd lives, or Bad Bunny's just fucking lit ass music. It's that I fuck with these guys. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for listening.